Beloved Saints, today's 5-minute message of redemptive history is about Hasmonean Dynasty in the genealogy of the High Priest from the 6th book of the Redemptive History series, the Eternal High Priest of the Covenantal Oath. Antiochus IV of the Seleucid dynasty blasphemed against the temple of God and oppressed the righteous Jews. At that time, Mattathias and his family of Maccabees rose up and fought for Judean independence. They became known as Hasmonean Dynasty. One point of view is that they were called this because they were from the region of Hasmon. Another viewpoint is that they were descendants of Asmoneus from the house of Jehoiarib, the first division among the 24 divisions of priests. As we have examined previously, the Hasmonean dynasty consisted of 40th generation high priest Jonathan Apis, 41st generation high priest Simon III Tassi, 42nd generation high priest John Hyrcanus I, 43rd generation high priest Aristobulus I, and 44th generation high priest Alexander Jannaeus. Moreover, the 45th generation high priest was Hyrcanus II, the eldest son of Alexander Jannaeus. Alexander Jannaeus committed the throne to his wife Salome Alexandra for the reason that Hyrcanus II was incompetent. Alexandra appointed her oldest son Hyrcanus II as high priest. Hyrcanus II served as high priest for 9 years. The 46th generation high priest was Aristobulus II. He was Alexander Jannaeus and Salome Alexandra's younger son. He was also the younger brother of Hyrcanus II. When Queen Alexandra died, Aristobulus II rebelled against his older brother and defeated him. Then he acquired both the throne and the high priesthood. The Jews sent a letter to Rome's Pompey to denounce the conflict between the two leaders from the line of priests. Ultimately, Pompey conquered Jerusalem in 63 BC, 3 years and 3 months after Aristobulus II began his rule. Pompey took the priesthood from Aristobulus II and returned it along with the ruling authority to Hyrcanus II, but he did not allow Hyrcanus II to wear the diadem. Thus, the 47th generation high priest was Hyrcanus II again. He was reappointed by Rome's Pompey, and he served for about 23 years more. The 23 years were way more years than the 9 years that he had previously as high priest. However, Hyrcanus II could exert barely any influence during this time, since the Jews were obligated to pay taxes to Rome and were under strict restrictions. Next, the 48th generation high priest was Antigonus. He was the son of Aristobulus II and the last high priest of the Hasmonean dynasty. He cut off the ear of his uncle Hyrcanus II so that he could no longer serve as high priest. 3 years and 3 months later, the Roman general Sosius, along with Herod, seized Antigonus and took him captive to Rome. There, Antigonus was decapitated by Antony as requested by Herod. Thus, the 126-year Hasmonean dynasty came to an end. During this time, Judean society was divided into 2 factions, the Sadducees of the priestly class who supported Hellenization, and the Pharisees who opposed it. An extreme conflict boiled up between these 2 factions over the throne. However, they did not try to resolve this through God's grace. Instead, they involved Rome in their conflict, which resulted in the conquest of Jerusalem in 63 BC by the Roman general Pompey. The Hasmonean dynasty began with Judean independence. However, in the end, the nation met a tragic end of being conquered by a foreign power. The cause was an internal struggle for power as a result of greed. Beloved saints, let us learn from the 9 generations of high priests from the Hasmonean Dynasty during the period of Judean independence. Let us not change our hearts, which initially possessed the will of God. Let us continue to have this will of God and throw away the greed, and with a humble heart, trust in the Lord. I bless in the name of the Lord.